What is something you did while blackout drunk that you still to this day cannot believe you did? I am female. My wife caught me peeing in the cat's litter box. She tried to get me to stop and I yelled at her like she was being ridiculous. Nothing. My friends refused to tell me exactly how my last blackout played out. But they all smile at me whenever I ask. Trashed a hotel room in New Mexico. Broke the tank on the back of the toilet. Flooding the bathroom. And somehow pulled a lamp out of the wall, shocking myself. I was convinced someone had broken into my room and tried to kill me. IGTFO the next day. Really embarrassed about what had happened. Paid $500 in damages. So they did not press charges. Threw up on a band in Nashville during a live show. Girlfriend at the time needed to find an ATM, so I drunkenly followed her. When she found one, I sat on the concrete against a metal railing. I knew I was going to be sick, so I stuck my head through the railing and vomited my heart out. What I didn't realize was that it was actually about a 15-foot drop between me and the concrete, where a band was playing, with an entire audience watching. Well, I got blackout drunk a grand total of 1 time in my entire life, and I projectile vomited all over the bathroom, in a roommate shared apartment, coating literally every inch of it in my stuff. That's totally believable and par for the course for being drunk. Or so I'm told. What I can't believe is that I had the presence of mind, the coordination and the willpower to dig out cleaning products from the vomit-soaked bathroom and clean the entire flipping thing from top to bottom, to the point where not only did nobody know I threw up in there, but in the morning my roommates were astounded that the bathroom was freshly sparkling clean after we'd all gotten blackout drunk the previous night. I was very surprised one day to receive an email from Drunk Me reminding me to do something important. I had, and still have, absolutely no memory of sending it. But apparently Drunk Me had the presence of mind to know how drunk he was, so he created an email to send to Sober Me 2 weeks later. Drunk Me was very smart to plan ahead this way, and Sober Me appreciated it. Single-handedly crashing a completely random wedding in a foreign country while my grandparents watched. I just strolled onto their dance floor and ended up dancing with the bride for a while. Allegedly I was saying something and spat while I was talking. A guy said, "Hey bro, you just spit on me," and instead of apologizing like I would any other time, I said I spit on all my itches. Then the fight started. Apparently I drank a red Gatorade from the fridge and later threw up in the bathtub, and my roommates thought I was throwing up blood. Of course no one called 911 lol, instead they decided to wait till the morning and ask, "Bro, was that blood?" Woke my husband up by eating his ass a few hours before he had to work an overnight. He forgave me and lovingly refers to it as the tequila story when telling it to all of our friends. In one night I threw spaghetti at someone, opened a bag of Doritos in someone's living room and grinded it into the carpet with my shoes, threw the vacuum across the room when they tried to clean up the Doritos, flipped over a coffee table full of drinks and snacks, and punched a stair railing in half. This is all very out of character for me, because I used to black out a lot and was always very well behaved when I did. So, do not do 10 shots of Caribou in 20 seconds. One of the guys in my group of friends was dating a girl. They had been together a while, and the rest of us weren't crazy about her. Maybe because we were all young, early 20s, and he was the first one of us with a serious relationship, and so we didn't see him as often. I got ridiculously drunk at a party, and ended up declaring my love for some girl I had just met, then passing out in the bathroom on the floor with the dogs. I was found at some point, and people were amused at my expense. My friend's girlfriend, rather than mocking me, helped me out. She took me upstairs, gave me some water, and put me to bed. Before passing out again, I said something along the lines of, "You're really awesome. I don't know why everyone says you're a rich." We didn't see our friend much for a while. Eventually things smoothed over. They got married and I was invited. So no permanent damage done. Still, I couldn't believe I said something so stupid. I've also never gotten that drunk again. I once sit on a cop car. There was dashcam footage released looking for any info on who it might be, and I recognized my hat and sweatshirt. Tried to fight my friend who was twice my size, muscularly, because I thought he stole $50 from me. Turns out it was the big-titted waitress that I gave my money to so she would smash my head between her titties. I had a few drinks and went to bed. Woke up the next morning and the wife was making me a huge breakfast and telling me how brave I was to capture and take a rattlesnake from our living room and release it in the wash behind our house. Yeah, I have a jigsaw puzzle memory of that. Told my then GF, now wife, at her own birthday party at volume in front of a few other friends that we were leaving because I won a duck. This is way out of character. I'm a real introvert and quiet. Then when she got me home I threw up all over our bed. Woke up in bed with a towel under me and a blanket on top with no idea what had happened, but I knew it must be bad. Weirdly she forgave me really quickly. I told my ex and her mom to suck on these Christmas balls when they were both trying to get me off the floor. Me and a very attractive friend made out twice in our lives. The one time she can't remember. The other time I can't remember. Not me, but a friend had a good year or two of blackouts. He mentioned one morning that he knew he drank too much whiskey because his ribs hurt. I had rescued him from getting his ass kicked in a fight he started with 2 Marines. After they had gotten in some serious shots on him, he didn't remember that. But he associated the pain from his regular beatings to a side effect of whiskey drinking, never actually remembering getting beaten up. Just like clockwork, he would black out on whiskey and wake up sore and just assumed it was a side effect of whiskey. TLDR, my friend would black out and get his ass kicked so often that he thought the pain in his ribs and torso from being beaten up was soreness from drinking whiskey. I was 18 and living with some friends on a farmhouse in the country. As one of the few people in my social group living alone, we tended to throw some solid parties. I woke up one Sunday morning and my shoulders, back, and hands were killing me. I had a few serious blisters on my hands and had no clue where they had come from. I went downstairs, and there had to be 15 or so people passed out all over the living room, dining room, and kitchen. I woke up a friend of mine and asked him why everyone was still here. He groggily tells me that I wouldn't let anyone drive home drunk. So I had chopped down a tree, and it had fallen across the long driveway to the road. I walked about 50 yards down the driveway, and sure enough, I had chopped down a tree somewhere around 1 or 2 AM, and it fell straight across the drive, blocking anyone from going home. I had to walk a few miles down the road to our nearest neighbor and ask him very nicely if he would be willing to bring his tractor over to our place and pull a tree out of the driveway. An hour and a half later, my friends all left in a conga line of cars 10 deep. Got onto the stage at a dive strip club and did the helicopter. My buddy said I got cheered on by all the hunters until I pulled it out and did the helicopter. Without being told to do so, I decided to climb down a ladder onto a frozen canal in Netherlands. Jumped up and down until the ice broke. Then sprinted a mile to get to my friend's apartment while drenched. A rammed nightclub in Bangkok. It is literally standing room only. There are tables, large cable reels, but people are so crushed they are standing on them. Everywhere it is people, and sweat and squish. Your drinking arm was set above your head to stop the constant jostle. The bouncers, I vaguely recall, had guns? Certainly no to be ducked with. Anyway, I did a handstand, threw my drink over my shoulder, and dived to the floor, flipping my flip-flop encumbered feet upwards. Twatting God knows how many people. And I swayed into this throng and set everyone to just toppling over. There was shouting, glass breaking, and I was giggling like a loon. Then 2 guys grabbed me either side, lift me up wholesale and just chuck me out of the club. I landed on my chest and got some road rash for it. The next thing I remember is waking up with the shells of maybe 7-800 pistachio on my chest. One of my shoes is under the mattress, and another is on top of the toilet. There is a bandage around my head, no wound, and blood from chest. What a pillock. That was my wake up call to get GTFO and sort my it out. That didn't last long. punched my friend right in the face. Apparently I said I would. Then he said you won't, so I did. I still can't believe it. No me. But my friend, let's call him Dave. Dave used to bring a blanket and bottle of whiskey canoe camping for 2 nights. For food he usually brought a bag of bagels. He would just sleep next to the fire with a blanket and had as much fun as anyone else that brought a ton of it. Second night he wanders off and we hear a splash in the water. He's blackout drunk at this point. He swims to the other side of the river, climbs a tree, and sits in it for about a half hour. Finally climbs down, swims back across, and goes to bed. To this day he doesn't believe that he did it. We were all too drunk to know what to do, so we just watched the whole thing. I really wish I could have been in his head to know what he thought he was doing at the time. And why. I have to assume that he was spinning some fantastic tale in his drunken mind that caused him to do that. Many things. 13 months sober. Blacked out at a college bar. Phone was dead. Friends had left me behind. Got kicked out of the bar for being too drunk. I truly don't know the specifics of what happened, but I'm pretty sure I asked random people to give me a ride home and everyone denied me. Fell on the floor a plethora of times. My drunk brain must have been really desperate because I got into a taxi that wasn't on duty and the guy took me back to the main campus of the college I was at. I was visiting a friend, so I didn't know where his dorm was. I'm also still blacked out. I broke into a random dorm. Thank God it was sweet of guys. And slept on their couch. Woke up to 4 or 5 dudes surrounding me asking me who the duck I was. I asked them where, insert friend's dorm hall, was, and they pointed me in the right direction, and I reunited with my buddies who basically thought I died. I still remember walking into my friend's dorm with just a look of exhaustion and saying something like, "You will not believe what happened," before I slept for like 3 more hours. Edit. I don't know if I paid the taxi driver. One time we were taking pictures for some dance, and they told the girls standing in front to bend down so they could see the short people in the front. I was in the front. Even though I'm not the shortest person, and this hot girl bent over into me.